Hey all, it's Miss Gigi in the house, your Sunday vlogger for my Lapband journey. How are you all? I hope you are doing very well and you've had a blessed week. Um, this week's topic is, why did you pick Lapband over gastric bypass or any other weight loss surgery, the sleeve, etc., etc.? And how did you come across picking your surgeon? Why did you pick your surgeon? How did you pick your surgeon? So I'll get started off with the question about the surgeon first. Basically, I knew I was going to have my surgery abroad in Belgium because I was self-pay. Um, so I literally narrowed it down from about, I'd say about 6 or 7 surgeons. I actually narrowed it down to two, and these were kind of, one of them was like a very well-known Belgian surgeon that literally so many people from the UK went to. Then the other one was well less known, was more expensive, but I actually liked the way he worked than the other one. The first surgeon, which was like Dr. Chris, he was very much, as long as you got the money, if you give me the money on Monday, you could have your surgery literally 2 days later. You wouldn't even have a consultation in the UK first. You'd literally have the consultation like the night before your surgery. And I was just like, I don't think so. And the second surgeon, although he was more expensive, I think he was about £1,000 more expensive. I didn't, obviously, like, I was watching the pennies, but because it was cheaper to get it done over Belgium, and I just didn't like the way the first doctor practiced. So anyway, um, I booked a consultation with him, and this was in London, and I just went there, had like, what, I can't even remember how many questions I had, but literally I just spent a lot of the time just asking him question after question. You know, some people probably get like a bit pissed off, like, how can you just get out of my office? But you know what? He was patient, he was calm, he took the time to answer. I was told the consultation would last like about 30-45 minutes. I think I was in there how many hours? But anyways, that was the first good sign, that he just took his time with me. He answered any questions that I had. He was just really good, really good. Um, I was just asking him questions. Literally, I was just like, how many people have you operated on, like, in the past? Well, since you've been practicing. Literally, he'd done like thousands of operations. He was like very experienced. Um, he knew what he was talking about. What else was there? Yeah, he was just really patient with me and just answered all of my questions, all of them. I even asked him, "Oh, how many people have died since that you've operated on?" And he was like, "0." I was like, thinking, Jesus. So that just like was like, yes, that's, come on, that's a good sign now. And yeah, very experienced, no fatalities. And another thing I liked, all the aftercare was over in the UK. Although I went over to Belgium for my surgery, all my fills, aftercare, whatever, was all done in the UK, like in central London, which is like, I live in London, so it's not all that far for me to travel. Although I had to pay, obviously, because you're self-pay, I have to pay for the fills. That's the downside. But you know what? It's all good, baby. All good. Um, and also he actually does all the aftercare. It's not like the nurse. The only person who would do aftercare, the nurse, is like if I need an overfill, which is out of hours. But he would do all of the fills and stuff. Sorry, I gotta make sure that I'm not cutting half of my head off again. Sorry. Yeah, he does all of the fills and everything, so that was really good. And also, I'd spoken to other people who had surgery done by him. He wasn't one of the surgeons to advertise his services. A lot of his work, I'd say over 90% of his work, came from word of mouth. And you know what? You can't go wrong with word of mouth. If you like a service or someone does something right, you're going to talk about it and share that with other people. If the service is rubbish, that will soon get around and you will not be having no business whatsoever. Although he was expensive, I would rather pay that little bit extra to know that I'm getting what I paid for, if you know what I mean. So that's how I chose my surgeon. His name is Dr. Fakay. I'll put the details in the sidebar um, for you in case there's like any UK people that are maybe thinking about having their surgery done abroad and stuff. And although it was about £1,000 euros more expensive, as I said, it was worth it. The quality of service that I received is like next to none. So good. Second question, why did I pick the lap band or the gastric band over any other forms of weight loss surgery? Well, I had quite a few reasons why I chose the gastric band over other weight loss surgery. Although people, because I was like quite big, a lot of people were like, oh, you need to have the bypass this, the bypass that. And for me personally, I think it's about researching all of the weight loss surgeries and picking which one is right for you. What is right for one person does not necessarily mean it's going to suit another person. I think you need to do your research, you need to do your homework, and you need to do what's right for you. And after I'd done all my research and everything, the lap band was what I wanted. Okay, let's get into the reasons why I chose it over the others. Number one, I didn't actually want any of my anatomy or my insides or whatever cut away or rerouted, or whatever. I didn't want any of my anatomy changed. I like the fact that the gastric band was just like placed around the stomach. Nothing, well, obviously you got something added, but there's nothing taken away or cut or whatever. So that's one of the reasons. Another one of the reasons why I chose, for me, before I get into this, it was really between the lap band or the gastric band, and these are my reasons. Number two is I didn't like the factor of malabsorption with the bypass. If you eat something, you eat something. I didn't like the fact that, okay, you're only going to absorb 30% or however many percent that it is. I didn't like that factor. Um, Number three, I like the fact that the band is adjustable. I've not had children yet, but I would, like to have kids in the future, and especially like through pregnancy and stuff, especially with the malabsorption and things. I've got like a bit, although I'm sure for some people it's totally fine if you manage your nutrition right and etc. etc. But I actually like the fact that the band was adjustable. Say for example that you got pregnant, you could have like some of your liquid like slightly taken out, so you could eat that little bit more to keep yourself and the baby healthy, etc. And then after you've had the baby, then you can get that little bit of fluid put back in there again. I like the fact that it was adjustable and that you could do that. Whilst kind of like with the bypass, once it's done, it's done. I like the fact, although I don't want to lose my band, I do actually like the fact that it is a reversible procedure. With the other ones, once it's done, it's done. There's like no going back. With the lap band procedure, it is a reversible procedure. Not that I want it reversed or anything or taken out like that, but that is an option. Also, with the band and the bypass, I didn't want to be on vitamins for the rest of my life. I've got issues taking tablets now as it is, let alone having to be popping the pills like every single day for the rest of my life. I was like, no, 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 no. Again, my issue was more with the amount of food that I used to eat. Even with the healthy stuff, if you give me like fruit or whatever to eat, I could sit there and eat like so much fruit. So I like the fact that the band literally was about restricting the amount of food that you can eat. And also I like the fact with the band that you couldn't actually all, like you could eat all different types of food. You wasn't like, okay, no, you can't eat that. Although I know people can eat certain things and can't eat certain things, I accepted that. But for me, sometimes I can eat one thing one month and another month or even another week I can eat the same thing. So I like the fact that I could still, no food group was restricted, or I couldn't eat this or I couldn't eat that. So those were my main reasons for choosing the band over any other of the weight loss surgeries. But as I said, this is a kind of like a personal thing. You can't do what someone else does. You have to do what is right for you. And I'm not against the band, I'm not against the bypass, I'm not against the sleeve or any other, or against the gastric balloon. I'm not against any of the weight loss surgeries, but for me, I think you need to do what's right for you. And as long as you've done your research, you've done your homework, you need to do what's right for you. So yeah, that's me for this week. I will catch you next week for next week's for next week's topic. Can I speak? And catch Timothy tomorrow for his views on the topic. So I'll catch you all later. I hope you had a lovely weekend. See ya.